this again. Welcome back to episode 2 of the podcast. We're here with Austin Smith, a recent transfer to U of A. He is one of my best friends from Southwestern. We met in college. How are you doing, Austin?
I'm doing great. I'm honored to be here on RJ Things podcast.
So glad you can get it down this time.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay. Now, I have a list of questions that I sent you beforehand. I hope you're ready.
We will see.
Okay. So my first one is just going to be about, like, your childhood. This is how I'm going to start off everything. This is kind of the template I have. So where were you born?
Denver, Colorado.
Denver, Colorado?
Yeah, I feel like it's like an interview.
Kind of is.
All right. Like
Okay.
for a job.
It doesn't have to be.
Okay, yeah.
It doesn't have to be an interview. We can just keep talking. I'm asking you questions. But you moved to Texas.
I moved to Texas in 3rd grade, so I was like 9 years old.
Was there a reason?
Yeah, my parents hated the snow, so we're like, all right, we're going to go to the hottest place in the world, I guess.
Okay.
But we also had family here.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, where is that? Did you move closer to your family or just move to, like, some random place?
I mean, we knew that they lived here, and we visited them a few times, and my parents just liked the area. But their main reason was they wanted to leave the snowy area.
And, oh, wait, I kind of forgot. So, did they just really want to go to Texas? Is that mainly it?
Yeah, they liked the area. They liked what it was about.
Was Cedar Park the first choice, or?
Not really. They wanted to be in the Austin area because that's where my family was, and then my parents just ended up finding a piece of land that they really liked, and that's kind of just, we're like, all right, screw it, let's move to Texas and change our life.
And with that piece of land, was it just in Cedar Park, or, like, when did you end up being at Cedar Park? Because I know you went to Cedar Park High School.
Well, I started at Vista Ridge High School, and I guess it's all technically Cedar Park. Cedar Park's huge, but we were on the opposite end of Cedar Park because, like, Seth was Cedar Park area, and I lived probably 2 miles away from Seth, but I was going to a different school because I was in a different school zone. So then after Vista Ridge is when I moved closer to Cedar Park, and then that's when I ended up going to Cedar Park High School.
Oh, dope. Vista Ridge. Some people go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Kyle John.
Kyle John. David
Alfonso.
Seth's golfing with him right now.
Of course he is.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. He didn't tell me he was leaving.
Probably losing to David as well.
Probably. Shoots over like 100.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you moved, like you said, in 3rd grade to Texas. But how was it growing up in Colorado? Do you remember any of that?
No, I remember Colorado quite a bit, honestly. My best friend, Tyler Bidwell, still lives there. And he comes down and he visits sometimes, and we play PlayStation together, so we're still really close. But living in Colorado was really fun because, I mean, we were riding our bikes around all over the place. I guess it was also a different time of era, I guess, where kids can ride their bikes all over and nobody really cares. But I'd come back to my house with Tyler, we'd have, like, snakes in our shoes, and we'd go, like, under the sewers and, I don't know, riding our bikes. We were little hellions.
What is wrong with you guys?
I don't know.
Nobody ever says that casually.
I don't know. We'd go to the elementary school and pick up rocks, and there's a bunch of garden snakes, and we thought it was funny to put them in our shoes and ride our bikes back home and give them to our parents.
Were you sad to leave Colorado and go to Texas?
At first, but not really. I mean, Tyler was pretty much the only kid in Colorado that was my friend at the time. Okay, not depressing. I had other friends, but he was the only friend I cared about.
It's okay. No, we have pictures of you growing up. We know you didn't have friends.
Okay, yeah, appreciate it.
I'm just kidding. Okay. Did you start playing baseball in Colorado?
Mm-hmm. I've played baseball ever since I could. My grandpa was the one who got me onto baseball, and I started playing t-ball, and I played with him in the yard when I was like 4, so I've always been playing it. I played all sports like basketball, football, but I just kind of liked baseball the best.
Is there any reason, or were you better at it than other sports, or you just liked it more somehow?
Let's see. I liked basketball a lot. But if I wanted to be professional in something, I had a better shot at baseball. And because at the time I was also small, I didn't get big until high school, or end of high school, I should say. So I just all right, if I have an opportunity to be a professional athlete, it's probably going to be in baseball. So that's when I was like, all right, I'm just going to commit fully to baseball and see where it takes me.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, looks like it's working out so far.
Yeah, it took the right path. I don't know if I'd be going to the NBA if I kept basketball going.
I don't know, were you like 6'4" or something?
Well, right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Around there, 6'4", 6'5", depends on the day. So
definitely would not make it.
No.
No, everybody there is like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, they're like 6'6" and can dunk, but I can dunk sometimes. Depends on the day.
Oh, yeah. Great. I have the great video of you blocking Spencer.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Throwback to freshman year.
That one's so funny. What's like besides your T-ball with grandpa, what's your very first memory playing baseball, probably like in a game environment?
I think I don't know if it's the first memory, but one that comes to mind it was my first year I lived in Texas. I flew back to Colorado to play on Tyler's baseball team. And Tyler was pitching, I was catching at the time, I don't know why, but this team was horrendous. Like, they were really bad. But this kid hit the ball to center field, and our center fielder ran underneath it, and we thought he made the play, and it was 2 outs. We were like walking off the field, and it straight up just hit him in the forehead and knocked him out, like a little 9-year-old. But that was probably one of my favorite memories from Colorado, at least. But I don't think I can think of any more before that.
I think it's safe to say that you're just insanely athletic and naturally talented, so far as I've met you. But
that's facts.
Yeah. But when you're like starting to play baseball, was it, I mean, I feel like a lot of people find it difficult or something. Did you just ever think you're going to be good, or you're just having fun or something?
I was more just having fun. I mean, when I came to Southwestern, it was like, oh, it's an opportunity to just keep playing baseball, something I want to keep doing as long as I can, because I don't want to regret anything later in life. Like the kids that quit after high school, then they're like, oh, shoot, I kind of wish we would have kept playing. So I was like, all right, Southwestern will give me that opportunity.
Okay, well, because that's like...
All right, dude, let me finish my story, all right?
Slow down the sentence.
I'm going back, all right?
Okay, you're going back, okay.
But I guess I kind of struggled with fielding, as you saw, but I kind of struggled with fielding in high school, too.
You didn't really struggle with fielding. You just struggled with throwing it to me.
Okay, yeah, to you when you played, sure. But
okay.
But that's always what I've been struggling with. I don't know. I've always had a strong arm, but fielding has not been my ish.
So, especially, I guess, if we're talking about in high school, Southwestern was kind of by chance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just happened to see you. Keith, I guess, saw you throw. He's like, let's make this guy a pitcher or something. Let's get him on the mound. Is that how it happened?
Well, I was playing with Keith's action team, and he also lived right across the street from me, so he saw me throwing with my dad out in the yard a lot. And that's when he's like, hey, he kind of has a strong arm. Like, if he wants to come to Southwestern, he can. We're like, yeah, I'd like to come to Southwestern. And then that was pretty much the extent to that. I came to Southwestern, just not many opportunities coming out of high school. And I was like, all right, this is the best one. Let's do it.
Okay. I mean, through high school, I feel like a lot of kids, in my senior year, I was kind of wondering if I was going to keep playing on.
Mm-hmm.
And you seem like you had a really kind of last minute, maybe impulse decision to kind of go to Southwestern. Were you even thinking about the chances of you getting drafted or playing at a really high level, or was it just, I just want to keep playing?
It was one I just wanted to keep playing. I mean, I didn't start pitching, like, until a while, and that's my only shot of going to be a professional pitcher, go to the MLB. So that's pretty much it. I just came to Southwestern to keep playing, having fun.
And what was you told me one time that you had a D1 offer.
It was more a D1 walk-on kind of thing. It was like UT Rio Grande Valley, and they knew Keith, and Keith was like, I mean, if he wants to go down there, he can do it. They said that they would take him, but I'd be a walk-on there. I wouldn't get any scholarship, anything, and they redshirt me. And I was like, I mean, I don't want to go to school and not play for a year, even though I know some kids do that. So I was like, I'd rather just take my chances and walking on at Southwestern, where I know I'll have a better opportunity to play.
Okay. Okay, we've talked a little about college. I want to go back to, because I feel a lot of people don't know it unless you tell them. It's really hard looking at you and then thinking this guy didn't have a growth spurt until his senior year of high school. So I remember listening to the podcast you were talking about. You called yourself a JV hero.
I was a JV hero.
Can you take us through your high school experience?
Yeah, I guess. Okay. It's pretty crazy, I guess. Freshman year, I told you I transferred. I went to Vista Ridge, transferred after my freshman year to Cedar Park. And then as a sophomore, I was JV but didn't play at all. But that's when I was like with Seth and all my buddies. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'm still like with my friends. I don't really care. And then junior year, I was still small, and Seth and all my buddies went to varsity, and I was still the last one on JV. But I ended up starting on JV. I was the starting third baseman. But that was honestly one of like my funnest years of baseball I ever had, because at JV it's not strict like varsity, and we're still winning. We're still winning all our games, so they don't really care. But I remember for our JV games, like me and a bunch of the other guys were our game starts in 30 minutes and we're in there running 5-on-5 basketball in the gym, or we're playing dodgeball or kickball, and like we're just having a good old time because we don't care. We're like, it's JV and we're destroying the competition at the time. So we'd roll out to the field 30 minutes before, like start throwing, like, all right, let's go, let's get it. And so it was way different than varsity because, you know, you have to be out there in and out, do all this stuff, has to be serious. And JV was just like, it was just straight up like a rec ball kind of vibe. Like we were just having a good time. Everyone loved it.
Nice. So, like you said, that was your junior year. You were still on JV. You were starting.
Yeah.
When did you start growing? Because how tall were you when you were junior and like starting on JV?
Let's see. When I got my license, I was 5'7", so I was 16, and then I think junior year I was getting a little taller, 5'10", 6 foot range, and then senior year is when I took off. So I think junior year going into senior year is when I started getting taller, like 6'2" range.
Okay. And so when did, like, because I think you came into Southwestern probably topping out about 88, I want to say. How fast do you think you're throwing, like, did you just see, like, sudden jumps in your arm?
At Southwestern?
No, I mean, like, when you're on your growth spurt during high school.
Oh, I mean, I didn't pitch in high school, but everyone on the team's like, Smith, how do you throw so far? Because we long toss. Our coach makes us long toss. Like, Smith, how do you throw so far? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just have a naturally strong arm, I guess. I'm blessed with that. So I just.
And you did, like, no
nothing.
Strength thing? No,
Nothing.
You're just, like, genetics?
Yeah, I've always had the strong arm, and then when I actually learned how to pitch, it was pretty much game over. I started throwing hard. Really hard.
I know. I remember going into onto the field because Blake's like, hey, we're hitting in here and everything. I saw you hitting. You actually intimidated me when you were hitting off the tee because you had such a freaking like long like swinging out of your shoes.
Daddy hacks.
I remember, and I was like, I have to compete with this guy maybe for a spot on the team, and I kind of did because you took the first baseman role, and I was just
a little bit until I got moved to third.
I was like my 5'10" ass wasn't playing first base, and then
still had a higher average than me though at the end of the year.
400,
218.
But and then I remember because you were in the fall you were my Saturday. You and I were at first Saturday people, but then I got switched to Aaron because Aaron threw so much harder than me.
Oh yeah.
But I remember having to long toss with you, and I absolutely hated it because you would make me go foul pole to foul pole.
Yep.
And then you could just see people would see me struggling to 10 hop you.
I'd have to walk forward, pick up your ball, then walk back to the spot I was at.
It's not even my fault.
No.
We're at the D3 level. This shouldn't, like, we're not even at Chapman. Like, we're not Trinity.
Southwestern University.
We're at Southwestern. We haven't had a winning record for, like, how long?
I'm hunting rabbits.
I know. Did you hear that? It was so bad. But, yeah, that was, like, my first impression. And you obviously knew Seth. I remember you also weren't the type of guy to brag about how hard you threw. You let everybody see it, and then you kind of just let everybody make their own decisions.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I also didn't know how hard I was throwing. I was just throwing it.
Yeah.
Because at D3, you don't have a radar gun up most of the time. It's just like
just trying to get through it.
Like, hey, just you go get 3 outs, all right? Like, yes, let's do it.
Or in our case, for our team, it's like, hey, can you throw a strike?
Yeah, hey, half the team is like, just throw it down the middle. I mean, I do that too, but whatever.
No, but effectively wild.
Effectively wild.
Is that thunder? Holy crap. But so within your first week, I think it was, I remember we were hanging out and you got a text from Coach Bunch. Do you kind of remember? I remember what it was, but I wanted to know if you remembered it.
The first week at Southwestern?
Yeah.
Was it about the number?
It was not about the number. It was about him thinking that you could be an elite player. Do you remember that text?
No.
It was something like he texted you saying, hey, I heard you have like an elite level arm, something like that.
I mean, I don't know. He texted me a lot.
Okay. Yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't know, but
well, not anymore.
Not anymore. Retired, but
retired Division III athlete RJ Sinani.
Washed up. But like once they figured out that you could throw that hard, then it kind of seemed like everything was moving forward for you. They were putting a lot more focus on you. You were training a lot and doing a lot more stuff. Like you said you didn't do anything in high school.
Nothing. Just
So then-
Jaeger bands.
Yeah. So then how did it go from that to whatever schedule they put you on and having to follow a set schedule to strengthen yourself?
I mean, it was definitely different because I didn't know any of the stuff that they wanted me to do. All I knew was the Jaeger bands and long toss. So when they were trying to tell me all this driveline stuff, like throw with weighted balls, do like reverse pivot picks, reverse throws with these big driveline balls, I'm like, what the hell is all this stuff? I don't know what any of this is. So it's definitely it was very different, but I eventually learned how to do it, and I think it led up to where I am today.
You know, it's one thing for the coaches to tell you you can make it to the next level, but then it's another thing for yourself to be convinced. Because I mean, you can have a lot of people telling you that you can make it, but then it's all really up to you on your motivation.
Yeah.
So at one point, because I feel like during freshman year, you kind of had some realization that you can make it to the next level. What point was that?
I mean, I knew there was like a chance, but I didn't think it was a big chance because then again, we're coming from a D3 and nobody really goes and scouts at a D3 unless there's an absolute dude there. So I was like, there's a chance. And then I kind of went and played summer ball in the Jayhawk League, and I was like, all right, I did pretty well up there. And it was D2 players, JUCO players, some D1, a bunch of young guys. But I think the biggest realization for me came from the Northwoods. And I know that's one of your parts too, but that's where I realized that I could be a professional
Is
athlete.
it?
I thought it was. I don't know.
Probably. I have everything on here. Yeah. No, I don't. No, yeah, I do.
Study
But-
your notes, bro.
Dude, you studied them like you did the whole classic, like studying right before the test.
Absolutely, that's the
And
that's the method.
you know more than me. So, yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, playing at D3 level, it's for you striking out a D3 player probably doesn't give the same satisfaction as, striking somebody out in the Northwoods. Definitely not. And, you did the whole freshman year playing as a two-way,
Mm-hmm.
but then you quickly switched over to PO.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that was for you to get better at honing your pitching skills.
Yeah.
And then, you had the Jayhawk League. I remember you coming back. Cole Kelly was like, you weren't there for this. He was like, guys, you know how insane it is for him to have a 1.4 ERA. I don't know how the Jayhawk League is, but he's like 1.4 ERA and do as well as he did. He's like, this kid's going to go places.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at that point, I was literally telling people, I would tell my dad. I would sometimes call my dad, and I'd just be like, dude, Austin's going to go pro. And he's like, why are you calling to tell me this?
Hey, your dad's one of my biggest fans.
I know, dude.
I love your dad.
No, I tell people that all the time. Like, I brag about you to a lot of people because I think it's just insane about your story and how you've, like, it's hard for it to be, you just not only being naturally gifted, but it's also kind of God-given
No, for sure.
what you have. Because you did nothing in high school.
No, nothing.
I worked my ass off in high school.
Yeah. I mean, all I did in high school was hitting the cages, and I didn't lead to anything. I didn't do anything pitching-wise, nothing.
Yeah, do you know how mad hearing that? Like, how mad most people would be hearing that?
Probably pretty mad. I mean, kids are still mad today. Like, Smith, how do you throw so damn hard? I'm like, dude, I really don't know. I play Call of Duty.
I was mad the first semester. I got over it, and then I was supportive since then.
But there you go.
Yeah, so because I realized I was like, being friends with this person would be a lot better than hating him for the rest of my life.
Oh, thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
So I want to talk about the Northwoods again because I remember when I was playing Fortnite with you,
Mm-hmm.
it seemed like a pretty hectic schedule.
Oh, God.
But D3 baseball, we're just kind of like, hey, we have our series maybe this weekend.
Yeah.
You were a PO, so you didn't really go to the practices much.
Yeah.
So, and then we'd be like, hey, we have a Tuesday game. Oh, it got rained out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're not going to reschedule it?
Oh, okay. Sure. See ya.
But the Northwoods, it seemed like you guys had so many games.
Oh, yeah. Northwood is definitely something different. I mean, 76 games in 72 days. And to all those kids that actually go through that, like, respect, because that is brutal. And it's like you're traveling 8 hours one day this way, and then the next day you have a game that's 8 hours from your original location in the other direction. So you're driving in the middle of the night across the state to just go play these games. But, I mean, it's definitely different. You get to a game like 24, and you're like, damn, this is a lot of baseball, and you're not even halfway done yet.
Yeah.
So those kids that stayed, and I know a few of them in Duluth that stayed the whole time. I didn't stay the whole time because I had inning cap, but it's absolutely insane for those kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good baseball because it's really good baseball because it's all D1 kids and it's kids that need the reps. But I don't even know like every day of baseball and getting out to the field and shagging every day, like it was brutal.
And so you're obviously playing like a lot, but was it more just playing a lot of games? Like, was there any like training, working out in between? Like, did they force you to do workouts?
It's scary.
Jesus. I'm just kidding.
I mean, so the good thing, I played in Duluth Huskies, and every player got free lifetime of fitness memberships. So I would throw on whatever day I throw. I think it was on a 6-day rotation. So I had to drive 4 different kids to the field. So my trip from the field was 30 minutes, but after I had to go pick everyone up, it was about an hour for me to get home, which sucked, coming back at 3 a.m. and then have to be back at the field at 8:30 a.m. But I'd normally just text those guys and be like, hey, y'all want to go work out? So we'd go work out there. I'd normally just do that twice a week. And then whatever my throwing program was, I had to do at the field because unlike this league I'm in right now, you had to go to every game regardless. If you pitched the day before, you're still coming to the game today.
Yeah.
Which sucks as a pitcher because you don't do anything. You just kind of sit there.
Okay, and I think I never even asked you about this, even in person, when you started out, because I kind of, you have such a like confident personality that I just always assume that this guy's never going to be nervous when he's on the mound, especially against our conference teams that we play against. I know you're never nervous unless it's
No.
Centenary.
All right, Centenary, sure.
Centenary. Not even Trinity unless you throw Goodrich the slider.
Yeah. Yes.
The slider outside.
The one hit that they get.
Yeah.
Still the fastest game I've ever pitched.
I know.
It was
like
done in an
2
hour 40.
Yeah, it was like almost 2 hours. But the first game you played, knowing that you're against D1 talent, people that have a possibility of getting drafted if it was a regular draft.
Yeah.
Well, was that a lot more nerve-wracking?
I mean, for sure, because Northwoods, all my teammates were Notre Dame, Texas, Vanderbilt, UCLA, some USC kids. Like, it was SEC to Pac-12 kids. Like, it was all over the place. Really good JUCO kids. And so everyone on the first day is like, "Hey, where you go to school? Where you go to school?" I'm like, Southwestern. Like, what the hell is that? I'm like, it's a D3 in Austin, Texas. And they're like, oh, okay, buddy, for sure. And then I went out on the mound and I ended up throwing harder than most of my team. They're like, why are you at a D3? I'm like, it's just where I ended up.
That's
I don't
exactly
know.
what everybody else was asking.
No, pretty much. And I had one of my good friends, Jake McDonald, who played with me. I still talk to him a lot. He was trying to get me to transfer like right after I pitched, and he was trying to get me to transfer all summer. But I was like, no, I'm going to stick it out at Southwestern and see what happens because I'd like to get drafted from Southwestern. But after this whole coronavirus and hit and the MLB draft changed it to 5 rounds, just kind of screwed everything up.
So I want to get back to that because I actually have a follow-up question for what you just said. Mm-hmm. But, you said you didn't realize you could make it until the Northwoods. Mm-hmm. And obviously, for people who probably are watching this and don't know, you were invited to the All-Star game, was it? Prospect game. I remember you were out there for like 10 minutes and you had about the worst sunburn I'd ever seen.
Yeah, it was really hot. But, yeah, the prospect game is you have to be invited by the scouts that are in the Northwoods area, and the only way that you can go is invitations from scouts. Like, you have to get multiple invitations from scouts to come out there and pitch.
No. Did you know when they invited you? Because it was such a big deal when you got invited. I remember Southwestern posted something on the Athletic Sports page. I read the whole entire thing probably about 10 times because I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I think we were playing Fortnite or something. It was insane.
Yeah.
It was like you're one of those people where I've been more wanting for your success than mine most of the time. Because that's just how insane I know you are and how far you can go. And was it when you got invited, were you like, oh, I can do this?
Well, from the start, like I already knew that was a thing before I even went up to the Northwoods. I was like, I know Northwoods has an all-star game and then a prospect game. All-star game is like for the kids who are there the whole time and like they're kind of teams, just kind of throw them out there. And I mean, it's still good, but the difference between the all-star game and the prospect game is I knew kids in the all-star game that went from my team that only threw one batter. So it's just like, hey, you're doing good in this league. Like, congratulations. But my goal wasn't to make the all-star game from the start. My goal was to make the prospect game because that's where all the scouts were. And when I got there, they were right. Like, the scouts filled up the stands. Like, there was 40, 50 scouts in the stands, all with radar guns up. So I was like, I saw that on the mound. I was like, well, I mean, I got to throw hard. Let's get it. So I just threw my one inning, and I think that's probably why I was all red, because I was giving it everything I had in every pitch to get my name out there, and I think it worked pretty well. I ended up being top 10 prospects in the Northwood leagues.
Yeah, I remember that. You like topped out 97 at that game, maybe?
Yeah, 97.
I think the best part was the year before that, your sophomore year, you already had scouts came to your game. I mean, that was probably an indication that you thought maybe I could get at some point in the 40 rounds, RIP.
Yeah.
But after the Northwoods, I think that's when it came, the realization everybody was like, this dude could be top 10.
Yeah.
And I remember our first meeting, junior year, just our coach going, already talked about Austin. That was just the best.
About how I'm on a different schedule than all that. Yeah.
He's like, unless you guys can do what you could do, like he essentially saying, he's like, don't expect any handouts.
Yeah.
But the best part is that you never expected that.
Yeah.
You still worked harder than anybody there, because you knew that what you did, you just got your foot in the door. Now it was making sure that you lived up to your expectations, to everybody else's expectations, and got to the level you wanted to get to.
Yeah. I mean, sophomore year, you're right. There was scouts there watching, but there was only like 1 or 2 a game. And then you saw junior year, like it was 15 to 20 every game. But yeah, that whole meeting with Coach Bunch was pretty funny, because all the freshmen didn't really know anything yet. They're just like, all right, for sure. But I mean, they were kind of right. Like, I'm not the guy like Colton was. Like, I can't lead like Colton can. I just try to lead by example, and that's kind of what my goal was, as our number one guy is the pitcher, and I let Colton do the leading.
Oh yeah, Colton, absolute
unit.
Yeah. Jesus, that man is just a godsend.
No, for sure. He's a unit, and he's a great team captain. He led our pitching staff really well.
It was like, I think it's rare to find somebody who is that passionate about baseball and also that amazing to his teammates, and could also be just a good leader.
No, for sure. And
vocally.
And he sacrificed his time. Like, he built us that bench for the bullpen, because he was tired of all of us cramming in the dugout, and he would show up before morning workouts to hold people accountable and have their punishment if they miss morning workouts beforehand. Like, that dude sacrificed sleep, his free time, a lot of stuff. He was a great leader.
But I keep getting off track, because I keep wanting to ask you, at the moment you knew you could be such a top prospect, and you said it was probably during the Northwoods, I'm assuming. And obviously I remember going through, I would read your stats probably after you pitched, before you got online, because I think what a lot of people don't know, we played a lot of video games that summer.
Oh, we still play a lot of video games.
It was insane how much.
Godly, dude. Stupid chair. Okay.
But why I brought up the prospect game was because, getting invited to the prospect game, that was your goal. When you got invited, was that when you thought to yourself, like, hey, I'm a top prospect? Because at some point you had to have thought that to yourself, especially this whole process.
I mean, when I realized that I was going to be a top prospect was at the Northwoods. They display the velos at every game. Like, every game has velos up on the board, whatever. So, I mean, I'm watching all my teammates pitch, who are they're all really good pitchers. But I was right up there throwing harder than them, and I was competing with them. And that's kind of when I realized, like, all right, I think I'm a top prospect. Because Mason Bryant from Texas, he was also at the prospect game. He was in the top 10 prospect. Eric Kaiser from Vanderbilt. He was on my team as well, and we were top prospect. And us three were kind of competing with each other every week, and so were the other kids. But that's kind of when I realized that, hey, I'm just as good as these kids are.
And I remember you talking to me sometimes. It was the best, because you were playing in the lobby of your hotel sometimes, and your coach would just come by and then just make fun of you for playing video games.
Oh, yeah.
But, you're surrounded by all this D1 talent, this really good D1 talent. And you were probably like one of the only people to have come from a D3.
Yeah.
And all these people are probably trying to convince you to transfer, because even I to myself, I was like, man, where would we be without Austin most of the time?
Yeah.
If you look back to our winning record season, you were like one of the driving forces. Wins against TLU, Trinity, the top people in our conference.
Nation even, they were both top 10 ranked.
Oh yeah, like they would go to, what was it, TLU won or got second at the World Series our freshman year.
Yeah.
Trinity consistent.
He's always there, yeah.
Yeah. Would not happen without you. I think also your presence inspired other people to do that much better, which is, again, you leading by example. But then again, you're also at a D3.
Yeah.
When it went through your mind, probably replaying back all these people telling you should transfer and thinking about what happened now with the corona, if you had pre-existing knowledge, like this is hindsight, pre-existing knowledge that this would happen during your junior year, you wouldn't have the chance. Do you think you would have transferred to a D1 to try and get like your name out there more?
I mean, I think my name was already out there enough,
yeah.
I guess you'd say. But like even this draft this year, like I had several teams tell me that they were going to take me in the next round or the round after that, so I was going to be in the top 10 round picks. But I guess I don't really know. I was coming back to Southwestern because, I mean, JC is a really great coach. I like him a lot. And Scott Lacey pretty much turned me into the pitcher I am today. Like, I wouldn't be here without him. So,
yes,
I still like being under their, I guess, they're under their wing, I guess, because they got me to where I'm at today. But I think I probably would have still stayed at Southwestern because I wanted to give Southwestern and that chance for them to have a draft pick. And, I mean, it just didn't happen. So now I got to change courses. Commercial break.
Yeah, because my camera doesn't work. But yeah, so obviously you have such great coaches, people who literally, like, I feel like Scott a lot of times, JC a bunch of times, because they know what you could do, would sometimes put their lives on hold and help you. And that's what also makes them great coaches. Like, they recognize your talent. They didn't recognize mine. I'm over here pumping 100 on the left side, but nobody cares.
Yeah, I know. Crazy.
But, I think a lot of people realized, especially after Corona, we would have loved to have you for our senior year. Mm-hmm. But obviously, if we're thinking about your future, you need to go somewhere where you're on display against people. Like, you already proved yourself in the Northwoods, but, that's for one summer.
Yeah.
Now it's proving to against other teams that are just as good as people you face in Northwoods and on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Because I feel like every time you go to the summer league or any summer league, you're always like, man, I'm pitching so much, like, every single week with, like, no rest.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little different from Southwestern because I know I'm pitching Friday night and I have the training staff and Scott and I got everything I need to do. And summer ball, it's just different because you're like, oh, 1 week you're pitching in 5 days rest or 6 days rest, or you don't have like Kurt, which is our trainer at Southwestern. We have a trainer, but like doesn't have like dry needles and all that stuff. Just like a put ice on you, cup you kind of trainer, like trainer in training. So it's definitely a different feel, I guess.
Yeah. How? I guess I have a lot of questions that I'll probably save for the end, but you making this decision to go to U of A. After the draft, or even before the draft, was it your decision, like, you were talking to your parents, we had some conversations, but I never really wanted to go in depth because, you're always uncertain. You didn't want to reveal what you did to people because you probably worried way more than we did. Obviously, you're the person in question.
Yeah.
For the draft, you're like, when did you decide, like, hey, with the whole draft thing, if I don't get undrafted, I'm going to go D1 or something like that?
Well, once I didn't get drafted, like, that night, I was of course mad, so I was like, all right, screw this. Like, I turned off my phone for the night. I was like, I'm just going to go to bed, see what happens in the morning. And I wake up in the morning, and then family coaches, they're like, so, like, what are you going to do? Like, this is what we think you should do. And then I was like, I mean, if they are talking about cutting the MLB draft again next year to, I don't know how many rounds. I think they were going to say, like, 15 to 20.
Yeah.
And, like, coming from a D3, like, they're already going to shorten you because you're like, oh, he's still a D3 guy. Like, he's not going to go top 5 rounds. Unlike, I mean, Nick Garcia did, and he's a really good pitcher.
Yeah.
He pitched in the Cape Cod. He did really well for himself. And I just think that if I go to Arizona, it will give me a better opportunity to be in those top 5 rounds because I'm pitching against Pac-12 guys and plus Tucson is like where MLB
Oh, the spring training.
is. So like there'll be scouts there already. So just a short drive for them to come watch me pitch real quick instead of area scouts.
I was at the Arizona Fall Classic like for a few years.
Oh yeah, how'd that turn out?
Not great.
Hey, you tried though.
Oh no, I did try. I tried extremely hard. Just didn't work out for me. But okay, so I've asked you about you wanting to go D1, but I guess the real appeal right now is what was going through your head during the draft, because obviously people would be calling you, they'd be calling your family advisor during it.
Yeah.
And I just remember being stressed out for you. Your dad obviously like wanted to do a whole draft party, but it was because there was no uncertainty. If it was a regular draft, we were all certain that was going to happen. So,
even a 10-round draft.
Or a 10-round draft. So I wonder what it was like for you even that day, or even just realizing that the draft was going to get cut down.
That day was definitely frustrating. I remember sitting on the couch and I'm like seeing all these kids get drafted. It's like the only difference between me and them is the name of their school. Yeah. And it's like kids throwing 88, 91. It's like, oh, but your school name says Vanderbilt or Texas. And I remember the announcer saying one time throughout the draft, like, if you throw 96 plus, you're going to get drafted. And I'm sitting there on the couch like, well, damn, ain't that shit funny? I was like, because I'm sitting here and I throw 96 plus and not getting drafted. But, I'm not too worried about it. God's got a plan for me. And if that's going to Arizona, then that's going to Arizona.
Yeah, I'll be traveling a lot.
Oh, yeah.
It is. But, going back to your Southwestern life, because I'm also going like extremely out of order for this. These were such in good order.
You literally wrote in the notes in chronological order.
In chronological order, but I want to go backtracking to Southwestern.
Yeah.
So, you're obviously with your girlfriend, Esther, of almost going on 3 years. You guys met like, spring semester, like January, or like you guys got together January of our freshman year. I couldn't say that word for some reason, but was that, I know, juggling that with doing long distance and everything for summer league and stuff like that, and obviously you had to be away from me all the times.
I cried every night because I couldn't see you.
I know. How's that? Because people a lot of times talk about your athletic life, maybe your professional life. Nobody really kind of gets maybe the juggling your personal and your athletic life.
Yeah. It was definitely something I worried about, but Esther's been supportive throughout the whole thing. And
she'd die for you.
Yeah.
I die for you.
Thank you. No, but I know my biggest fans are my parents, but I think that she's right up there with them too. Like, she's also my biggest fan, and I think it would be a lot different, a lot harder, because if she wasn't supportive, and I tell her all the time how supportive I am, like how appreciative I am about how supportive she is of me, and like she wants me to continue to chase my dream, and she tells me that, and she's gonna, in Northwood's stuff, like I'm across the country, I'm in Minnesota, like. Yeah. We made things work, like FaceTime, all that stuff. So we've kind of already been preparing for this because I've been playing summer ball. But I'm going to try to come back and visit her and you guys as much as I can. And I know that she's going to make time to come visit me, so I'm not too worried about it.
I think some things that are very underrated when being a student athlete is you think about how you're training for baseball, but there's so many other things you have to micromanage. You have to micromanage your school, your friendships, hanging out with people. You have to realize
stuff
how to.
I want to do.
Yeah, you have to prioritize correctly. During our freshman year, you're starting a new relationship. You're also making new friends.
Yeah.
We were barely like 6 months into our friend. No, probably like 4. Sorry.
Dude, damn chair.
4 or 5 months into our friendship.
Okay.
On top of that, you're strengthening bonds, and you're also having to make sure you do all your work. I know we had the same kind of experience as like two-way players, but then I quickly quit after my series against Trinity because they hit like 2 bombs off me. But but I kind of get at the D3 level how stressful it was. But for you, it must have been even more stressful because you had to make sure you were making grades. You had to make sure you were the top dog on the field everybody wanted you to be. And you had to make sure you were keeping your relationship also very strong at the same time. So that's three things that are very hard to manage for the normal person at the extent and intensity that you had to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something I had to learn. I mean, coming Southwestern, we both know it's a big academic school, so like I had to manage my academic side, which I think I did fairly well at.
Oh yeah,
I'm an environmental studies major, which you guys like to give me crap for, but hey,
rocks, man,
saving the world.
Wait, yeah.
And then baseball. I mean, I'm a big planner. My parents have taught me to be a planner, like be on time, do this. So, I mean, I just figured out what I need to do throughout the day. It's like, oh, I have to throw a bullpen today. Okay, and I'd be like, this is the time I'm going to do that. And communication is what I tell Esther, like, hey, I'm going to be gone from here to here. So then, like, it just kind of all revolves around baseball, honestly. But we make time for each other, and it's good.
Yeah.
And for our schoolwork.
Of course. So now that we've kind of like discussed that, you know, I know that you've pretty much been close to your family your whole entire life.
Yeah.
You've had these kind of summers where you're away for a couple months, but you're also still coming and going, and they're coming and going and visiting you throughout. Would you say U of A is going to be your first time being that far away for that extended period of time?
For sure, yeah. Because, I mean, they're going to come visit me because they got their job and stuff, but they said they're going to come visit me in the spring. But for sure, this fall's going to be really different and be far away from everyone. So
yeah, I know that, you know, if we're going back, I already talked about how you're such a confident person. It's hard to tell when you're worried unless I straight up ask you how you're feeling.
Yeah.
You know, I think what I loved before when you would pitch is you'd come back in the dugout and I tell you in between your innings how much you sucked.
I was like, thanks, bro.
Yeah. Because I was so bored. That's like all I could do for fun.
Yeah.
But, you know, I remember how nervous I was to go I was like 17. I was moving away from my parents. I wasn't even 18.
Yeah.
I was moving away from my parents. I'm 1,500 miles away from them. My first month of college was the funnest, but it was also the most nerve-wracking.
Oh, for sure.
But, you know, for you and like Seth or like Maya or even, you know, even Jace or like Esther, they have the cushion of, you know, 2-hour drive max to go back to their parents. Me, I couldn't see them as much.
It's a whole new world for you, yeah.
Yeah. So I want to know, like, do you have any anxiety, like any fear or like stuff like that?
I mean, I'm a little nervous, yeah, because I know I'm going to be homesick too, because I mean, with this whole COVID thing, everyone's been at home forever except for you. I mean, you could pretty much say this is your home.
You're my family.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I've been at home for the last few months, and I assume a lot of people have too, so it's going to be a little different. And I think I'll be homesick, but I also know I'm going to be busy a lot in Arizona. Like, I'm going to have baseball meetings, I'm going to have all my schoolwork, and I know that D1 baseball and D3, where it differs in the fall, is like there's a fall season in D1, so like I'm going to go have all my workouts, and then I have fall season where we get to throw without getting in trouble with our coaches or whatever. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, D3.
Yeah.
Player practice.
Yeah, player-led practice.
Yeah, and then you know, JC cheating the system where it's like you have to have like a day break every like 2 weeks. But he's like, you know what, the first day I'm going to give you a break, and then we're just going to go 14 days straight.
Right,
that was the best.
I guess.
That was fun. But you know, with you, it's going to be different. It's you're going to be busy with everything. I kind of lost my train of thought and like what I was going to say.
Yeah, I got my new gaming monitor.
Oh yeah, your new gaming monitor and your chair.
Yeah, I got stuff to distract me from missing home.
Yeah. So, I guess, you know, you already kind of talked about it. I sometimes ask Aster, but you guys have been kind of working this, like planning this whole long distance thing for a while.
Yeah.
And, you know, I guess it could also be a nice change of pace. You never know what's going to happen. You know, I definitely grew as a person being away from my parents.
Yeah.
And one thing that would be hard for me is I have my social like problems meeting new people.
All right.
So you know firsthand.
Don't know what you're talking about.
But you know, you're gonna have to meet a new team. But I'm sure it's gonna be fine for you. I've
been meeting new people all summer.
Yeah.
Like Kansas, I met a whole new team. Same with Northwoods and the team I'm on now. Like, I didn't know any of those kids until I showed up.
Yeah. So I have no problem that you're just gonna fit right in.
Yeah.
You're also just tall and white, so
Oh yeah.
Not that.
Just fit in perfectly.
Just fit in perfectly on your baseball team.
All right.
No, that was a joke.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about it. And I've already been talking to like my roommates who are baseball players in Arizona, and they seem like good dudes. So.
Yeah. Do you know who you're going to be playing in the fall or?
No, I don't. I was looking at because like the schedule hasn't came out yet, but I know last year Arizona played like Team USA and then a few other teams in the fall. But
Damn.
I don't know. I'm excited to go play at like UCLA and USC, and like those are my old teammates too from the Northwoods. So like it'll be cool seeing them again, playing against them.
Yeah, and you've never really had the experience of playing in those collegiate stadiums, and with the fans and everything.
It's gonna be different. I mean, Northwoods had good fan turnout, but probably not like college kid turnouts.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be exciting. Do you know? I like this is the thing that I think I get a lot of crap for is like my lack of knowledge about conferences and stuff like that. What conference is U of A in?
Pac-12.
Pac-12, and who else is in the Pac-12?
UCLA, USC, University of Washington. There's other ones too. Arizona State, Oregon State, Oregon. I'm probably missing one or two, but that's all I remember right now.
And then those are like the teams you'll be playing
those
regularly.
are the teams I'll be playing.
Jesus,
I'm gonna hopefully go to Omaha because that would be sick.
Dude, that'd be so sick. I don't know. I definitely have to plan. I was like jokingly like texting yesterday. I was like, hey, we'll make a trip. She goes, what do you mean I'm not driving?
Yeah.
We're going to be flying all the time. I was like, okay.
All right, yeah, that's fine. No, but Omaha would be sick. And Arizona had, like, everybody from Arizona is returning this year. So, like, they didn't lose anyone. So they got their starting infield and outfield back. They lost their catcher, but they're bringing in a top recruit catcher. And then their whole pitching staff's coming back, too. So throw me in there, and it should be a pretty good team.
So I guess the very last thing that we can jump on before we end this is just the whole conversation between you trying to find a place. Because the first time I asked you, I think I texted you the very next day after you didn't get drafted.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, you did.
I was like, so, like, what's the plan? You're like, you're probably going to enter the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Or something like that. What were your first picks for school? Because you probably had something in mind, but again, you don't really tell anybody unless it's confirmed.
Yeah. I mean, when I entered the transfer portal, I was like, all right, well, let's just see who reaches out. Because, like, I wasn't expecting all the schools to reach out like they did. And, I mean, OU reached out, which, like, the Sparks family knows some of the OU coaches. So, like, that was kind of, like, my in to that. And then when Arizona started reaching out and University of Washington started reaching out, and there were smaller D1s like Lamar and McNeese, like, those were probably, like, my top 5 that I was into. And then I just kind of kept narrowing it down day by day on, like, who's at the top of my list and who isn't. So when I got down to OU in Arizona, it was basically just me going to their campuses and realizing that I liked Arizona better and I could see myself at Arizona.
Yeah, no, that's great. And you also have a ton of great perks, it seems like.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah, I mean.
Except for the scorpions, dude. Those big black scorpions and that like glow in the dark.
So
too.
is that your new fear, or is it still the brown recklessness?
Brown reckless is still my fear, because at least I might be able to see the scorpion coming. But you can't see a brown reckless or a black winder coming at you.
Dude, those things they're scary, but it's even worse when you scream a brown reckless and you start running.
Oh, they scare the hell out of me.
Because you're much faster than me.
Oh, you need a new chair, RJ. Can't be having podcasts here on bum chair.
Okay, we'll do it on the couch next, I guess.
All right.
But
hey, get him more views so we can buy a new chair, all right?
Yeah, you're gonna put this podcast on. You're gonna send people the link to it.
Oh yeah. Tell them to donate to RJ Things.
Donate. Clip that? No.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. Wait, let me look through these questions really quick. One thing I never asked you about that I was supposed to ask you about during our talk about Southwestern is, and you wanted to think about it beforehand, is remember the favorite moment in college so far.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
but you don't say favorite moment because it's hard. It's like when somebody asks you, what's your favorite movie? You're like, I don't know my favorite movie.
I have a bunch, which is true with our favorite moments, because us at Southwestern, it's a small campus, and the baseball team we're all so close. Like, we connected freshman year, like, quick. Like, after, like, 2 weeks of knowing you, I was like, damn, I feel like I've known these guys, like, my whole life. Like, we became buddies really quick because we were all hanging out. But I think hands down my favorite moment was Ryan Baranowski throwing the bookshelf off the, was it second floor?
It was a second floor.
Second floor of maybe, because his Mark Mark was the instigator of our team, and he was instigating like, "Hey Ryan, you won't throw that bookshelf off." And he's like, "Oh, bet your ass I won't." And he kind of like looking around. There's a video of it. You should attach the video with Ryan's permission.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he already got in trouble for it, so who cares?
And he launched the bookshelf off the edge, and I was on the third floor, maybe across the dorm. I was laying in bed. I remember watching Netflix, and it sounded like a gunshot. It was boom, and I was like, "What the fuck was that?" So I went outside, and I just see like a bookshelf shattered on the first floor, and like them all running, and everyone came out of their dorm rooms like.
No, but you see, your first reaction was to go outside. I thought there was a sniper in the building, and no, because I was asleep. So
under your bed?
No, I was just in bed, and I was like, I'll give it about like 5 minutes before I get out. And then people were like texting in the schnock, like our group chat, like, what happened? Or no, wait, it wasn't that. No, it wasn't that they were saying what's happened. It was other people were talking about that. They sent the video. In our schnock.
And we were like, oh my God.
Yeah,
you thought it was a sniper. You should have ran out of your room and yelled, "You missed." No. I'm right here, you missed. Like that Twitter video.
And do you remember, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember Mark saying, he's like, yeah, when that happened, I just went back in my room. And then like they knocked on my door, and then I just walked out. I was like, what happened?
Yeah, he tried to play it. Him and Ryan were both trying to play it off like nothing happened. And then that girl was like sitting in the study room right there. And she was like, watching the whole thing.
No, I knew her too, because she was in my class, and I remember her talking. She's like, yeah, there was these two guys, and then
wasn't she trying, like, they pulled up a roster, and she like
they pulled up the roster.
They're like, oh, it was this guy. I was like, was it fucking me? Like, what do you mean?
But no, that was funny. We also obviously have the post we have on starting 9 and foul pole with our bus getting stuck.
That was a good one too. We're all sitting there trying to lift the bus off the curb because we get stuck, and we show up like 15 minutes before our game's supposed to start for our conference tournament game.
And we absolutely shut it down.
Oh yeah, we won that game. Centenary. I got him that time.
You know what's one of my funnest moments that I actually have on the vlog is the lake house.
Ooh, which one?
The one for Esther's birthday party.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
We don't have to go into that. I just remember that one being fun. For me, at least.
Yeah, you saw me raging. I was a mad dude.
You were still doing the shot.
No, I don't know.
No, you weren't.
I was just hanging out.
No, you weren't doing it.
Some certain people made me mad, and
okay,
I let them know about it.
Let's turn to a different, because I totally forgot. I brought that up just because, and I totally forgot about it.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of problems with our buses, and so far every single year.
Every year something happens with our freaking bus, dude.
You remember sophomore year, the guy like left it running or something the whole entire night?
Yeah, we couldn't. We had to get it like a certain company out there to jumpstart it. Yeah.
You know what was the best part about that, though, is that I remember that happening. We all went back inside, and to myself, I thought, oh, thank God we don't have to go to the field.
Oh, yeah. I feel like it's always when it's raining, too. Yeah. It's like, all right, get off the bus. It won't start, and it's raining. And we're like, all right, sick, so we just stand out here in the rain.
Was that when Dallas U of D had that video on one of the Instagram accounts where they were like directing the water?
Oh yeah, that was right before we played them. There was like shoveling out there. I remember that because I remember warming up on their mound, and it was really like a mud pit. I was like, okay, this is gonna be great. And then I ended up no hitting them.
And you never got your at bat.
I never got my bat. I also didn't take BP for throwing a shutout against ETBU too, because then I pitched horribly the next time against Centenary, and I didn't deserve BP.
See, that is so funny.
Yes.
I use Centenary to keep you humble sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, all y'all do. Scott still does. Scott said something to me last week when I was with him. But.
Okay, well, seems like a good place to wrap it up. I'm very excited for you to go to U of A. Yeah. I'm very excited to go watch you pitch, because I've only ever watched you in the dugout at our small stadium with like no fans.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, there's Brian and Christina, there's Seth's parents.
Especially if you make my walk-up song.
Oh yeah, probably.
Artie's gonna make me a walk-up song for Arizona.
Oh yeah,
so we'll hear it at the stadium.
Yeah, we'll do that. And I'll try to, if you have any games like any close by, somebody said something about a tournament in Dallas, I'll definitely go. Like, if it's that close by, there's no reason for me to.
I think you come to Texas a few times, actually.
Yeah, there's no reason for me not to go.
Yeah, it's not like you have baseball anymore.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed. Texting him at your game, our coach at your game, hey, I'm burnt, man.
Yep.
I'm burnt out. I'm raw. But yeah, stuff like that. Definitely being at the next draft party. I'll be there.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. You know, you got to speak it into existence. That's what Scott Lacey told me, and then I just never played.
I'm gonna start today. Nope, not starting today.
No, there's that guy. Never played that position.
No, that's true.
No, but
I don't let RJ fool you though. He's actually a pretty good baseball player.
oh, I could have smashed at the D3 level.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure out of everyone, because we inter squad all the damn time. Pretty sure you had the highest average off me. Pretty sure you probably had more hits than I had strikeouts against you.
You know, it's so I think you struck me out. You struck me out like twice.
Well, there was that one scrimmage. What was it? At the beginning of sophomore year, I literally went up and down the lineup, striking everyone out, and you were the only guy that was 2 for 2 off me with 2 doubles. I was like, all right, dude, screw this kid.
No, but the best part about you and me facing you is that every time I think about it, Seth and I always had a thing where we were like, you kept getting better each year, and then Seth and I were like, okay, so we're just not going to go up to the plate.
Yep,
I don't think I faced you at all recently.
You faced me in junior year because I was like, RJ, if you're going to face me, bro, just go swing first pitch, please.
Yeah.
I threw a curveball, you swing first pitch, flew out to second.
Yeah.
I was like, let's go.
Yeah, that was the best. And
Seth never stepped in the box.
no, because you were throwing 97, and I was like, I'm not going in there.
Seth likes to piss me off, too, so I'll bring that cheddar in at him. He doesn't want it.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm glad I won't ever have to face you or anybody else again.
Yeah, there you go.
So with that being said, thanks Austin for being here.
Of course.
This has been an hour, I feel like.
Damn, what time is it, dude?
It's 2:48.
All right.
Damn, we've been doing this for a while, but thanks. And I honestly don't know what my next episode's going to be, but I'll have this one out probably around 4 or 5 o'clock today. So it should be fast. Yeah. Thanks for being here.
It was a pleasure. Peace out, RJ. Thanks.
Peace out.